Hello and welcome. This is Notibot ENG. We bring you a special news recap covering the escalating tensions in the Middle East. The situation has taken a dramatic turn with the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran, leaving the region on high alert. In our report, we'll examine how this conflict is giving Iran a significant advantage and the reactions of major world powers to the crisis unfolding in the Strait of Hormuz. We'll take you through live updates from the front lines and discuss the implications for global security. A devastating conflict in the Middle East has significantly altered the regional balance of power, with far-reaching implications for global politics and economies. The U.S.-Israeli war in Iran has taken an unexpected turn, with the Islamic Republic emerging as a significant power player in the region. The conflict began 4 weeks ago, with the U.S. and Israel launching airstrikes against Iranian military targets. However, despite their best efforts, the strikes have failed to topple the Iranian government. In fact, Iran appears to be improving its air defenses, with U.S. warplanes being hit regularly over the past week. Meanwhile, the Islamic Republic has continued to operate effectively, even as it faces an onslaught of aerial bombardment. This is a stark contrast to other regional regimes that have crumbled under similar pressure. The Ba'athist parties in Iraq and Syria, for example, collapsed quickly after their leaders were captured or killed. Similarly, the Jamahiriya in Libya disintegrated rapidly following the ousting of Muammar Gaddafi. However, Iran's command structure remains intact, despite the infiltration of foreign intelligence agencies like the Mossad and CIA. The reasons for this are complex, but it is clear that Iran's regime has been built around a strong central authority rather than a personality cult. This has allowed the government to adapt and respond effectively to external threats, unlike other regional regimes that were dependent on their leaders' charisma and authority. The implications of this are significant, as they suggest that Iran may be able to withstand even the most intense pressure from external powers. The situation is now becoming increasingly dire for U.S. President Donald Trump, who had hoped to use military force to topple the Iranian government. Instead, he finds himself facing a potentially catastrophic outcome, with Iran firmly in control of the region's maritime trade routes. The future looks bleak, and it remains to be seen how this crisis will unfold. As tensions over a potential Iran conflict escalate, the international community faces a significant setback in its efforts to mitigate the crisis through diplomatic means. A UN Security Council vote on reopening the Strait of Hormuz has been vetoed by Russia and China, leaving the world's oil supplies vulnerable. The resolution was introduced by Bahrain in an effort to convince Moscow and Beijing to abstain rather than veto it. The U.S. President, Donald Trump, issued a stern warning just hours before the vote, stating that if Iran does not open the strategic waterway and make a deal before his deadline, the whole civilization will die tonight. This message drew criticism from world leaders, who view such language as unacceptable. The Strait of Hormuz is a crucial waterway for 1/5 of the world's oil supply. Iran has been holding its grip on the area during the ongoing war, causing energy prices to soar. The international community is growing increasingly concerned about the potential consequences of this stranglehold. Russia and China have long been vocal supporters of Iran in this conflict. By vetoing the resolution, they are signaling that they will not be swayed by international pressure. This decision has significant implications for global trade and food security, as Iran's threats to block the strait would have devastating consequences for the world economy. The UN Security Council's inability to act decisively on this issue sends a worrying signal about its ability to maintain international peace and security. As tensions escalate in the region, it remains to be seen how the international community will respond to the ongoing crisis in the Strait of Hormuz. As tensions between Iran and its regional adversaries escalate, we're getting word of a shocking warning from a former U.S. president. The situation in the Middle East has taken a dramatic turn as tensions between Iran and its allies escalate ahead of a crucial deadline. President Trump's ultimatum to Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by 8 p.m. Eastern Time yesterday was met with defiance. According to sources, Iran announced it would withdraw from negotiations over the strait's security. The United States and Israel have stepped up their military presence in the region, launching airstrikes on Iranian targets in retaliation for what they perceive as Tehran's aggression. The attacks targeted Iranian missile sites and naval vessels, sparking concerns about a wider conflict. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been at the forefront of the push to disrupt Iran's maritime trade routes, citing Tehran's involvement in regional conflicts and its nuclear ambitions. Trump has echoed Netanyahu's sentiments, warning that the whole civilization would be affected if Iran was allowed to continue its aggressive behavior. Iranian officials have rejected these threats as empty words, saying that the U.S. is trying to intimidate them into submission. The Iranian government has also pointed to U.S. support for Israel and Saudi Arabia, accusing both countries of complicity in a broader campaign against Tehran. The situation remains highly volatile, with many experts warning of a potential escalation. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical waterway through which nearly 20% of the world's oil exports pass, making any disruption potentially catastrophic for global energy markets. As the deadline draws near, the international community holds its breath, waiting to see how events will unfold. As tensions escalate between the U.S. and Iran, President Donald Trump has issued a stark warning that ignoring American demands could have catastrophic consequences. A standoff between the U.S. and Iran has escalated, with Donald Trump warning that Iran's whole civilization will die tonight if Tehran does not comply with his demands. The threat comes as a deadline to order the mass destruction of Iranian power plants and bridges Looms, set for 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 1 a.m. British Summer Time. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have signaled they are ready to escalate the war, vowing to retaliate beyond the region and target oil and gas production facilities in the Gulf. This could potentially send the world into recession. The White House has issued a statement denying that the U.S. is considering the use of nuclear weapons, but Trump's words have raised concerns about his willingness to commit serious war crimes. On Sunday, he said that U.S. bombing would destroy all Iran's power stations and bridges within 4 hours of the deadline. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has rallied the nation, saying over 14 million Iranians have registered to sacrifice their lives to defend the country. Tehran has presented a 10-point plan for long-term security guarantees, which Trump has rejected as not good enough. The situation is complex, with Pakistani-led peace efforts making little headway. The Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point for oil and gas, remains closed. Iran's leverage in this standoff lies in its ability to disrupt global trade, a move that could have devastating economic consequences. The world watches anxiously as the deadline approaches, wondering if Trump will deliver on his threats or back down. The stakes are high, with potential for catastrophic conflict between two major powers. As tensions escalate between the U.S. and Iran, the White House has issued a strong denial to allegations of plans to deploy nuclear strikes. The White House has denied that it's considering using nuclear weapons in Iran following days of apocalyptic threats from U.S. President Donald Trump. This denial came after Vice President Mike Pence made a statement during a visit to Hungary suggesting the U.S. was considering deploying advanced and destructive weaponry. Pence stated, "They've got to know we've got tools in our toolkit that we so far haven't decided to use. The President of the United States can decide to use them, and he will decide to use them if the Iranians don't change their course of conduct." Trump's comments have raised concerns about the potential for nuclear escalation. On Tuesday, Trump warned that a civilization will die on Iran if it does not open the Strait of Hormuz. Some interpreted this as a reference to nuclear weapons, which would mark the first use of such technology against human targets since World War II. The deployment of nuclear weapons in Iran is a serious matter due to their destructive impact and potential for apocalyptic escalation. No country has used nuclear weaponry against another country since then. The U.S. has 9 nuclear-armed countries in the world, making this scenario highly unlikely but not impossible. Trump's approach to Iran has been increasingly erratic over the past week, with alternating optimism about a deal and extreme threats of violence. The situation is tense, and any miscalculation could have catastrophic consequences. As the deadline for Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz expired on Tuesday, tensions remain high, and the international community watches closely for any developments. As tensions escalate ahead of a looming deadline at the strategically crucial Strait of Hormuz, a new warning from President Trump has sparked global concern. President Donald Trump has issued a stark warning to Iran, stating that the country could die tonight if it doesn't comply with his demands. This comes as the U.S. conducted airstrikes on Iranian military targets near the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway for oil exports. The attacks were carried out by U.S. forces in the region and are part of a broader campaign to pressure Iran into reopening the strait. The deadline for this is set for Tuesday, at which point Trump has warned that he will launch massive strikes on Iranian critical infrastructure if his demands aren't met. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital choke point for oil exports from the Middle East, with over 20% of the world's crude oil passing through it. Iran's military presence in the region has been a source of tension between Washington and Tehran since 2019, when U.S. forces shot down an Iranian drone. Trump's ultimatum marks a significant escalation of tensions between the two countries. Iran has denied any intention of blocking the strait, but has warned that any attack would be met with harsh revenge. The situation is highly volatile, with many fearing that a miscalculation could lead to all-out conflict in the region. The international community is watching the situation closely, with many leaders urging restraint on both sides. As the deadline approaches, the world holds its breath, waiting to see how this crisis will unfold. That's all for today's news recap. We'll continue to bring you updates on the ongoing Iran crisis as more information becomes available. Thanks for watching, and we appreciate your engagement. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and breaking news, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We'll keep you informed as this situation continues to unfold. Stay tuned for more from us.